Welcome to Math Tips. Today we're going to look at simplifying fractions using the 4 friendly factors and 7. Before you continue, you may wish to review my video on the digit sum rule if you have not done so already. The 4 friendly factors, what are they? These are 4 numbers that can be fairly easily recognized as factors of other numbers. Starting with 10. Now we know that 10 is a factor of a number if that number ends with a 0. The next one is 5. We know that 5 is a factor of a number if that number ends in a 5 or 0. Next one is 2. We know that 2 is a factor if the number ends with a digit that is an even number. And finally, 3. Now 3 is a slightly bit more involved, and this is where the digit sum rule comes in. Basically, if a number's digits add up to a multiple of 3, then 3 will divide exactly into the original number. Hence, 3 is a factor of that number. We may want to review the digit sum rule to just see that in operation. Okay, let's start with this fraction. Which friendly factor can we use? Well, both numbers end in a 0, hence 10 is a factor of both numbers. Cancelling out that factor of 10 leaves our fraction in a simplified version, 15 over 50. From here now, we can see that 5 is a common factor because one number ends in a 5, the other number ends in a 0. So when we cancel out 5 as a common factor, that leaves us with 3/10. So our original fraction, 150 500ths, very awkward fraction, simplifies right down to 3/10. Look at another one. Looking at this fraction again, we can see that both numbers end in a 0, hence 10 is a common factor. Cancelling out 10 as a common factor leaves us with 12 over 38. Looking at what we have now, both numbers are even numbers because one ends in a 2, which is an even digit. The other one ends in an 8, which again is an even digit. So we can use 2 as our common factor. To cancel out a factor of 2, we simply halve the number. So half of 12, 6, half of 38, 19. So that leaves us with 6/19. Okay, much better form of that fraction than what we started with. Next example. Now we can see that the most obvious common factor is 5 because one number ends in a 5 and the other ends in a 0. Cancelling out 5 leaves us with 51 over 72. Literally dividing both numbers by 5 gives us 51 over 72. Now looking at what we have, 10's no longer going to work, 5 won't work, 2 won't work, so that rules out 3 of our friendly factors, but 3 will. Let's see how we know that. By using the digit sum rule, we can see that the digits in 51 add up to 6. The digits in 72 add up to 9. Both digit sums are multiples of 3. That tells us that 3 divides exactly into the original numbers. So if we now cancel out a factor of 3 from both, we get, using 3 as a common factor, we get 17 over 24. And that's the fraction in its lowest terms. I think I have one more example. Looking at what we have now, we have even digits at the end of both numbers, so we can use 2. So 2 is our most obvious common factor. If we halve both numbers, we get 147 over 168. Looking at what we have now, we can see that 10 won't work, 5 won't work, 2 won't work as common factors, but 3 will. If we use the digit sum rule, the digits in the number 147 add up to 12. The digits in 168 add up to 15. So both of those are multiples of 3. That tells us that 3 is our next common factor. So dividing top and bottom by 3 gives us 49 over 56. Now, at this stage, none of our 4 friendly factors are going to work. 10 won't work because we don't have zeros at the end of each number. 5 won't work because we don't have 5 or 0 ending. 2 won't work because only one of our numbers is an even number. 3 won't work because our digit sum rule falls down. None of our 4 friendly factors work. But if we look closely at the numbers, we'll see that they both belong to the 7 times table. So it might be an idea to learn the 7 times table, because 7 is a fairly small number. Not so easy to identify as a factor of a number, but once we get our numbers down to the first few multiples of 7, we might be able to identify 7 as a common factor. Well, 7 is the one that works in this case. So if we divide top and bottom by 7, we get 7/8. And that's our fraction simplified. Now it's your turn. See if you can simplify these fractions using the 4 friendly factors and possibly 7. See how you get on. Pause the video, work out your answers, then restart the video to check. And the answers. For the first answer, 180 over 240, 3/4 is the simplified version. The next one, 450 over 2100, 3/14 is the answer. The next one, 210 over 750, 7/25 is the answer. And finally, 105 over 168, 5/8 is the answer. Hope you got them all right. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.